Good morning. It's so nice to have you here for coffee at 10. My name is Sheila Ruin. I'm the Visual Arts Director, and going to be introducing Amabel today. Amabel Liu is an experienced expressive arts therapist, artist, and singer-songwriter from Hong Kong. She's passionate about the healing benefits of art. Amabel is a strong advocate for connecting people with the transformative power of creative expression. I'm trying to think, Amabel, how did we first meet?
I think we met.
Patrick.
Yes, we met through Patrick.
That's right.
Yeah, it's a mutual connection.
Yeah, so this is a new collaboration. We're really excited about this collaboration with Harbor Hall. Amma will talk more about that. As the expressive arts therapist at Harbor Hall, Amabel runs the Heart Studio Expressive Arts program, and they have a really beautiful program over there. Great studio space, and when you walk into that studio, you really feel the healing energy of the work they're doing there. It's a dedicated space that nurtures clients' hearts through creativity. With expertise and compassion, Amabel guides individuals to explore diverse artistic mediums, from painting and collage to music and writing. So Amabel has many, many talents. Through the expressive arts, Amabel empowers her clients to tap into their inner resources, connect with their own soul, process emotions, and foster personal growth and healing. Her holistic approach creates a safe, non-judgmental environment where participants can reconnect with their innate creativity and rediscover the joy of self-expression. And so this is work that we all need, I think, not just folks at Harbor Hall. An accomplished artist and singer-songwriter herself, Amabel's creative practice deeply informs her therapeutic work, inspiring others to embrace the power of art as a tool for wellness and transformation. And so I just want you to know, before I hand it over to Amabel, that Amabel is offering a class here at Crooked Tree Art Center, Healing, Wellness, and Creativity Expressive Arts Workshop. And this is in collaboration with Harbor Hall. As I said, this is a new collaboration. We'll be continuing to work with them. And this workshop is going to be from November 4th to December 10th, if you're interested. And so I'll turn it over to Amabel.
Thank you very much, Sheila. Well, thank you very much for inviting me to hold this talk. I'm going to talk a little bit before, entering into the transformative journeys of clients in recovery and personal growth. It's truly an honor to be able to be here speaking about my passion. As Sheila said, I'm actually not from here. I'm pretty brand new, actually. I've only been in Petoskey for 5 years. So coming from all the way across the Pacific Ocean, from Hong Kong to here, is truly, in my experience, a blessing and a calling. The reason being is that not only because I am an advocate for the healing benefits of art, but I truly understand that sometimes in life, we have to go through many obstacles in order to find where we are supposed to be, what we're called for, what our purpose is, what our mission is. And everybody has that, no matter what past you have, no matter what you're facing in the present. I myself am also a recovering addict. And art has truly helped me heal. It's still helping me. And I've always wanted to, venture out in these adventures, asking me the question is, what can I do with everything that has given to me for the benefits of my healing journey? And that's why I'm here. So I'm going to talk about what we do in Harbor Hall. Harbor Hall is an addiction recovery treatment center, as all of you know. Actually, it's a meet cute situation. It's all about synchronicity. When I came here and I felt like I'm ready, I'm searching for something, for my purpose, they approached me. And Harbor Hall always felt that something is missing. Something is missing for their clients. So in their treatment center, there is talk therapy, there's the 12-step, all that very substantial recovery processes for the clients. But they feel like the only thing that is truly missing is the creative part, is the nonverbal expression. Because a lot of the clients there has kind of a struggle in articulating how they truly feel. So when that happens, I was like, wow, I'm very much interested to see what I can offer to these clients with my experience and my background. So we decided, well, actually, I decided because it was a blank canvas over there. So I'm like, you know what? Let's build a studio. And intuitively, I said, I do everything through my heart, even through recovery, through the struggle, through the expressive arts. Everything is through the heart. That's the most magnificent part of being a human being, is when you can express yourself through your heart. So I decided to call the studio Heart Studio. And as you can all see, that I emphasize art with capital A-R-T, because I believe art truly comes through the heart. And I want all of my clients, when they come through that door to Heart Studio, that's what they can feel, that they're opening up their heart and try and rediscover, recreate, and recover who they really are before all the addiction, before all the trauma, before everything they thought the world has pointed them into. And I wanted them to find light in their darkness. So creativity, as Heart Studio's purpose, is to nurture their hearts. Because I always tell them that you can have all these gifts within you, even if you find a voice to express something. But if you don't nurture it, it's gone to waste. So a practice of nurturing has to be embedded in this program with them, and to motivate them and to encourage them. So what is expressive arts therapy? Now it's kind of getting kind of educational. But it's actually, in a nutshell, a therapeutic approach that encompasses and utilizes all the creative process to promote emotional healing and personal growth. And it's a multimodal approach. What that means is we use all forms of art, and interchangeably, we would find different details, different essence of other art forms to help our clients to express themselves. So it could be visual arts, it could be creative writing, it could be poetry, music, dance, movement, so on and so forth. So it encompasses all art form, not just visual arts. And the key concepts of expressive arts therapy is that we really focus on the creativity part. That is, in essence, embedded and given to us as gifts. All of us has it. It's called the power of imagination. When you have an idea, from that idea is when you can develop something. And from that development, through practice, through engagement, through giving yourself a chance to make mistakes, that's how things can develop. Such as this beautiful Crooked Tree Art Center. Someone has to have an idea. Someone has to design it. Someone has to have a vision of seeing what can be held within this building that you're placed upon. So everything in life, everything that we see in this world, it could be the skirt that you're wearing, the handbag that you bought, the glasses that you're wearing, the coffee cup that you're holding. Everything is designed because of an idea. So I always try to tell my clients that do not be confined thinking that art is only artwork that are presented in a gallery or a museum. I'm not saying that they're not art. They are art. They're a form of art. But everything around it is art. So I want them to expand their mind to be able to understand the creative process and how important that is. It's a nonverbal expression, so it's an alternative way to communicate emotions and experiences without words, because sometimes our unconscious, subconscious, and unconscious thoughts are very abstract. By the time our brain can process anything and bring them into words, there's so much in there that is perhaps much needed to look into. And that's where the art comes from. We focus on the process over the product. What that means is the creative process is where all the insights and wisdom comes from. And this way, at the same time, for any clients or individuals who are a little bit intimidated about creating something because they don't have the experience, it's a lot less intimidating because it's about the creative process. It's not about the final outcome. And we also, in expressive arts therapy, really focus on the holistic approach because we believe that when you are engaged in creating art, whatever forms of art, it promotes mindfulness. It brings you to a calm and relaxing state instantly, and the power of being in the moment, being in the flow, where your body, your mind, and your spirit is in one. And it creates a safe, supportive space to explore difficult feelings and experiences without fear of judgment. That was a lot of information. But yes, this is the nutshell of what expressive arts therapy is. But I have to emphasize that these are just point forms. But when you get a chance to truly experiencing it, it's life-changing. So I want to break down each modality. These are actually our clients at Harbor Hall. And I want to showcase some of the stuff that we've been working on and the different mediums that I was talking about. Visual arts encompasses painting, drawing, photography, collage, sculpture, clay, nature art, where we would go outside and collect materials and create nature on site, murals, mixed media meaning putting different forms of art together. We also incorporate art history and art techniques. What that means is we do have art education in Harbor Hall. We like to utilize that because it's a very great way to expose clients and to understand about historical aspects of art, about how visual arts can actually help them with their communication skills and expand their vocabulary when they express themselves. We have music, although we don't have a huge music department yet because of funding. But I do emphasize on music so much coming from a singer-songwriting background that some of our clients are very, very inclined when it comes to performance, music writing, so on and so forth. So in our group sessions, we always have music appreciation. That's one of the things that ties us all in, is when we share the music that we love, I will put it on the playlist and we'll play it and we'll discuss it and we'll enjoy it and really get in the flow of enjoying different types of music. Music appreciation is a big thing, and also how to listen to music. That is a key to music appreciation as well. Songwriting. Songwriting a lot of times is about lyrics, about personal discovery, and they get to write poetry along with that, and also playing music. And we also have creative writing. So that means clients can choose to also write poetry, storytelling, fiction, and nonfiction. And you can see that some of these, for example, these two right here, they like to incorporate some artistic sentiment in it too by using different colors to express themselves. So a lot of times, all these different art forms are interchangeable and they're kind of, they blend in together for their own personal expression. So why is expressive art so relevant to clients in Harbor Hall that are dealing with addiction? The first one is about emotional expression. It is so important to provide a safe space for them. A lot of the clients have extreme trust issues. They don't trust very easily. And if you want them to tell you something, especially hurts, pain, trauma, truth from their heart, trust is a big thing. So therefore, to create that beautiful safe space for them and safe outlet for them to express themselves is the key. And art has a beautiful way to do that. It is about self-discovery because a lot of clients, they come in with a very, very broken sense of self. A lot of them has kind of derailed and lost their identity. So as I mentioned before, it's about recreating, rediscovering, and truly recovering who they really are. Art has a great way for them to self-reflect and also become self-aware of things that they may not even had a chance to look into and explore their identity beyond their addiction. Because I always tell my clients, you may be here for addiction treatment, but do not label yourself as just an addict. You're much more than that. Coping skills. This is probably one of the things that I advocate the most, is to pretty much give them a chance to become an artist of themselves. Whatever level that is not the true point. The true point is for them to start expressing themselves through other healthy coping mechanisms, such as art, so that they can stray away from harmful behaviors whenever they get triggered or whenever they get these emotional outbursts. They can pick creating art instead of, going back to their harmful behavior ways. And the group art sessions really helps to foster the connection between them so that they don't feel so isolated, because addiction can be a very, very dark and lonely and isolated journey. And for them to be able to create art together in that creative environment really opens up the doors for us others to see others as well, how they are dealing with their recovery journey through creative expression. And the beauty of this is that it's very non-intimidating, because art is a very safe and kind of light way for people to see the truth. So for them to have this connection and having the support within each other in the group art session is beautiful to watch. A lot of our clients do come with trauma, and art has a beautiful way as well to facilitate the processing of trauma experience, because trauma is very deep. It can run very deep within themselves. And sometimes for those trauma to come back up takes a very long time. So art somehow, because they don't have to articulate their trauma verbally, sometimes on the piece of paper or something that they express right away, actually explains their trauma much more evidently. But I'll explain that a little bit more when I give you the examples, which is my most favorite part, because I see every one of them as very gifted individual, just waiting for that chance to find their voice. Now, bear in mind that the next couple of client artists, I like to call them, has absolutely no art experience whatsoever. A lot of them is actually their first time creating anything. Their usual answer is, I can't draw. I can only do stick figures, so on and so forth. So there is already kind of a judgment mindset saying that I cannot do something. And I love it when they say that. I love it when people say, I can't. Because then that's how I will step in. I will change your mind that you can. Because I will teach you how you can do it. You can express yourself, even with a single dot. Because everything starts from trying, from practicing. Nobody is born Da Vinci. Even Da Vinci himself has to start with something. So Never underestimate the power of art as long as you have the courage to express it. So this client artist was very, very drawn to something called oil pastel. As some of you may or may not know, when you utilize oil pastel, it's the heat coming from your fingertips that allows it to melt, and therefore very easy for you to maneuver, to mix, and to move it around. So he was having a lot of fun with it. He felt like he was a kid again, basically, kind of exploring different colors, how to blend different colors. And I remember the first time, this is like our pilot session too, that we just started at Harbor Hall. And I was encouraging clients to think about what heart means to them, because our studio is called Heart Studio. So he created this, very exuberant, kind of tie-dye-ish. I just noticed that actually. And then he decided to create a logo for our Heart Studio, saying Heart Studio 2024. And he created a diamond shape, if you can see right behind the heart, because he believes that, that's what the heart is all about. When you speak from your heart and express from your heart, it's a gem to be able to do that. It's very precious. So I told him, hey, you know what? I feel like one of our entrance wall is missing something. I need something like very pronounced and, kind of in your face, telling us that you are about to enter Harbor Hall Heart Studio. Would you be able to design something for me? The first thing he said was that I remembered, what? Are you sure that I can actually do that? I said, yes, I wouldn't ask you if I didn't believe that you could. So he took his original drawing and put it right at the wall that I was talking about. I said, why did you put it over there? He's like, I want to build, around it and expand the concept of how the heart is like a gem. So I said, okay, go for it. I only gave him a couple pointers saying, you should probably, do it in pencil first, so that if anything goes out of what you intended to plan, at least you know where it's going. So he did just that, and he started to expand it. And I just watched him every single time when he comes to the session. He was so motivated, so eager. Like even in between sessions, when I see him on campus, he would start, showing me these designs and saying, I want to do it this way. I want to do that. So I was like, wow, it's really helping him to self-guide himself into creating something. And this is what he did. And when I saw it the very first time, because when he finished that, I didn't get a chance to see it because my time is up and I'm home. But the next day when I came back, I walked into the entranceway, I opened the door, and that's what I saw. And I had tears in my eyes. From a person who had absolutely no experience whatsoever, this is what he created. And every single time when I walk past this, which is pretty much the first real art piece, distinctive piece that represents Heart Studio, it always reminds me that if you're willing to give yourself a chance, anything can happen. This is a second client artist who is extremely passionate, a little annoying, but very passionate. And what I meant by that is he has so much to express. So much. Again, he also has absolutely no experience whatsoever. And he was very prone to oil pastel. So he was doing these little drawings, tiny drawings of oil pastels of kind of rainbow color blends. What he loved to do, though, was to separate all these colors with tape. He deliberately did that without me actually directing. He self-directed himself to do that. And later on, he described that is his way of compartmentalizing his emotions. Instead of having them all together, making him confused of how to express it, he was able to separate them, but at the same time, it's all contained in one piece of artwork. So we did an art exhibition for Harbor Hall's 50th anniversary, and he really came through as one of the artist clients that I'm very proud of. He might be listening right now on Zoom, I don't know. But he really came through because he worked so hard on trying to find out his personal expression and how to articulate it artistically. And he actually wrote something here that I would love to share with all of you about these 3 pieces that he created. He named it Bringing Light from My Heart. My mind is dark and my heart is starting to bring light into my mind. I allowed myself to get into the flow and let the art compose itself. The colors in this art piece display the light from my heart coming into my mind and relieving while enlightening my dark way of thinking, such as depression, guilt, self-hate. Into the light, self-worth, beauty is born. And every single time after our clients create artwork, we always go through something called a creative statement writing. So what that means is they have to kind of reflect upon the mediums that they choose. They have to give the titles to their own drawings or series of drawings, and they have to come up with a statement explaining how this has helped them. So you can see how expressive arts therapy also utilizes writing and reflection to help them understand their own creative process. Now, this is very different comparing to the other 2 expressions. This client, this client has a lot of anger issues. And when he first came into the program, he was very confused. You can see that he was very flustered because he wanted to express something, but he just doesn't know how. He doesn't know how to express himself creatively. And especially how it can align to what he sees within his mind. So I kind of talked to him about this, and he was doing a lot of sketches in the beginning, and he just felt like something is not right. It's not aligned. It's not truly voicing out his emotions. So I said, have you ever heard of an artist called Jackson Pollock? So he is very much, Jackson Pollock is there's a lot of anger in that guy. But he has a beautiful way of expressing it through his physical act of painting. So the physicality of the act of painting actually does help the artist himself or herself to express the emotion of frustration, stress, anger, so on and so forth. It's like going for an exercise. You do release some of that pent-up emotions in there. So what he did was, he has paint, he has paper, and then he said, you know what, I want to try what Jackson Pollock did. And he said, I don't want to use a paintbrush. I just want to use my hands. That deliberate. He literally just squeezed paint on his hands, and he just started to throw stuff. And he explained it like throw it, almost like baseball, like throwing it curveball. What did he say? Because I'm not a baseball person. Curve, slides, fastball, knuckleballs. You see, I'm learning stuff from him too. And he called this controlled chaos. Again, he came up with the title by himself. And I want to kind of just show you what he did. Which, just keep pressing. Okay, thank you. This is just one of probably 10 videos of 10 different artwork that he did. Every single time when he came in, he just took everything out, put it in the lawn, and he would just start. He wouldn't stop. And he absolutely loved it. That and total concentration and engagement and expressing his emotions. Oh, it definitely, I mean, you can feel it. Again, he had absolutely no artistic experience whatsoever. I never even taught him how to put colors together. I thought that was just beautiful. Beautiful. I had this hung at the back of my wall where my desk is. So for the 50th anniversary exhibition, I said, you know what? I have this blank wall. I don't like it. I'm not very pleased with this ridge that comes off, feeling like it's very like, I don't know, it just looks kind of weird. I said, you know what? Can you kind of help me using your newfound technique and style to create something in there? And he just did, yeah, sure. And then he just started going at it. And without even, premeditating how he was going to do this, it looks like a heart. It looks like a heart in motion. It's not stagnant. I mean, every single time I look at it, if you see it in real life, it looks like it's evolving. It's moving. It's absolutely beautiful. And during the exhibition, he talked about it to other people who came over, and he talked about his experience. And that is also very much part of our program. They have to present their own artwork. They have to be able to articulate now about their own processes. And somehow I feel like it's so much easier to talk about their struggles when it's through their own artwork. Because we're not asking them to tell us face front what their problem is. They had to create something. And now we created a triangular relationship. The client, the audience, and the artwork. We're all focusing on the artwork, but we're still talking about their own struggles. It becomes a sharing experience. It's not direct. It's not in your face, just asking how you are. What are you struggling with? But through the artwork that he's creating, he was able to share about it because he went through it. This client artist is a writer. He did not know that he was a writer, but the first day he came in, he was like, you can just feel his depressed energy. He kept saying that I cannot do this. I cannot work through this program. It is so tough. It is the toughest thing that I'll ever have to do. I don't know. I cannot make it. Again, I love it when people said that they can't. But what's interesting about this client is that he has a journal. He writes a lot in it. So starting from where he's at, I always look for what's naturally to the client that they're not aware of. He already has a very natural way of expressing himself, but he just didn't know that that was what it was. So I told him, you know what? Because I read some of his writings. It's beautiful, by the way. It's very intense, but very beautiful, very raw, very true. I said, here are some highlighters. Highlight all the words that speaks to you the most. Just the word. So he went and did that. I said, give yourself a chance to just do that. Don't bother about what the outcome is going to be. Just do it. So he did that. And he started highlighting all these words. And all of these words pops up. It becomes almost like different sentiments, different emotions that he's able to see now. It's not just gravitating towards the depression, but what is that depression? What is that heavy and intense emotion trying to teach you? So after he did that, he was on a roll. I said, now that you highlighted all these words, put them back together as poetry. It's like, wow, I've never thought of that. So he picked out all the words that he has highlighted and put them into poetry. And he himself created a book, and it's presented at the 50th as well. And he's still adding more pages into it. So when he first wrote the top piece, there's a lot of my, I, experience stemming from the self. As he starts to evolve, I told him, hey, you know what? I think it's about time you take away the my and the I's. Take yourself out of it. See what's going to happen. See what you're going to see. So visual imagery starts to come out. Sunrise, pink skies, clouds, better path, plants, life, morning, darkness, light, beautiful, sight, falling. These words are starting to come out. He's like, this is so therapeutic, Amabel. I feel like you're trying to ask me to venture out by minimizing what I don't need anymore. And later he reflected, the minimization is himself. The artist only comes alive when the artist is no longer present, because that means you're fully in it. Sometimes with addiction, the hardest part is to accept that you're an addict. But if you can accept that you are one with it, that that's who you are, because that's part of your journey, you come together with it. You're no longer speaking from just me and the addiction. You're together. And that's a great pathway for them to see into themselves and also to recover from it. Because if you don't accept something, you can never truly recover from it. Acceptance is a huge key. And he's still writing very adamantly till this day and adding more pages and chapters. And he said he ultimately really wants to write a memoir. So he came in saying he can't, to I'm a writer. That's fantastic. I'm so proud of this process and being able to witness it. So at Harbor Hall, there is actually a lot of examples. Even though we started this about 6 months ago, so much has happened. Magic, like magical moments after one and another. And yes, it's a very transient program, which means sometimes we have no control of how long they can stay. But whatever time that I have with them, I would do my utmost best to pull everything out of them as best as I could. And a lot of them actually really, because of this exhibition that we did for 50th anniversary for Harbor Hall, I asked all the clients to actually come down to see the exhibit as well, because I want to encourage them. You can also exhibit your artwork. And a lot of them, because of seeing this, think, hey, maybe I could do something like this too. Hey, maybe my drawing could be put up on the wall like this too. Hey, I want to say something too. I want to express something too about my recovery journey. So you see how art can actually influence and encourage each other to speak up. So these are just some artwork that's presenting now in Heart Studio. Oops. Yeah. So just to recap of what expressive arts therapy is before we move to the workshop exhibition, is that expressive arts therapy is about utilizing all forms of art to promote emotional healing and emotional growth, personal growth. The purpose is to help individuals, not only our clients, individuals, to improve their mental health. So a lot of times, People would ask me, do I have to be really dealing with something very, dire or very traumatic in order to delve into the creative arts therapy? No, you don't have to. And we should not even look at it in this scope. Art is for everyone. To be able to utilize this to express yourself is honestly intrinsic to every single one of us, no matter what age, no matter where you're from, no matter what experience you're experiencing, it does not matter. Everyone can create something. Everyone has the power of using their imagination. Everyone has something to say and express. So I want to really point that out because there might be some, maybe stereotypical way of, or limited way of seeing what art therapy, expressive arts therapy is, but it's not just about that. And the techniques we use are encompassing all the different art modalities. And I highlight, you do not have to have any artistic skill or abilities in order to create. And the benefit, these are just some of the benefit, more of a general overall benefit, is that it really does help reduce anxiety and stress. Why? Because when you're, like I said, it's all about aligning the mind, body, and spirit. It does bring you in the moment when you're in the flow, when you're creative, when you're in that moment, when you're processing something creatively. It slows your heart rate. It allows you to breathe, taking full breaths, not, short, short cut-off breaths. It allows you to really be in the moment, to be aware of what you're experiencing. And it helps tremendously with facilitating emotional release. We as human beings, every single one of us has emotions. Ta-da! And emotions is a funny business because you cannot repress it. You have to release it. But sometimes repression, release, it seems such an extreme scope. It's the processing that we need to be able to help us release. So we can receive a lot of emotion every single day. Even now you can be feeling something, maybe something dawned on you, like it's speaking to you somehow in a way that you're receiving, you're feeling something. And all of these emotions, they store in your body. Believe it or not, they do. It's not in your head, it's in your body. And when we don't learn how to healthily release them and express them, they get stored, they get pent up, and they get stagnant when you don't move them around. So that's why expressive arts, it's so wonderful. Even just having coloring sheets and you're just coloring. The act of expression, of letting something out through your hands, that act in itself is healing, is therapeutic. It's helping you to process something, okay? And expressive arts therapy, you can apply it in all settings. It's used in mental health facilities, schools, which is, I think, would be wonderful, and community centers. And again, it's for all ages, all walks of life. It applies to anyone, everyone, the whole world. And the theoretical basis of it is it integrates concepts from psychology, art, and different somatic therapies. What that means is body-based therapies, because I was talking about how emotions are stored in a body. And it builds that mind-body connection, which is very important because sometimes the disconnect comes from you're not connected with your body. Our body stores so much and it's working for us every single moment. But sometimes we're very detached from it. We think too much. We tend to kind of separate the two. But in fact, it's about connecting them that we can start to listening to our voice, our inner voice, and start the healing process. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the Expressive Arts workshop that Harbor Hall and Crooked Tree are coming together to basically share to the community. Because I think we both share the same vision of how healing really does benefit through art expressions. And transformative, I mean, this word transformation is not about change. It's not about changing a person. It's about transforming. It's about evolution, basically. It's about moving how one person can shift their mindset through creative expression to evolve into something more, to evolve into more of their true self. So I highlight transformative power because it is so important to understand that this is where the wellness is. It's by transforming yourself. You're constantly evolving, every single one of us. Biologically, we're constantly evolving as well. We're growing. We're entering into different phases. Within different phases that we are entering into, we deal with different struggles. We see life in a very different spectacle, in a very different perspective. So that's why I always highlight the word transform. It's not about changing. It's not about curing or treating. It's about transforming. And this is the co-echo of Crooked Tree and Harbor Hall's mission. And I really am so grateful for Crooked Tree to see that and welcome us for that collaboration, because Harbor Hall and I have talked about how we really want to be able to share this with the community as well, not just for our clients' well-being. We want everybody, anyone, to be able to experience that. And who would benefit from this workshop? Those who are in education or healthcare. They could probably incorporate some of the techniques that I will be sharing into their work settings. For those who really want to get to know themselves creatively, can definitely come and join the workshop. It will help you with relaxation and stress reduction for those who wants to find a different outlet for them to express themselves. Could also join. Those who want to focus maybe on self-care. Now, this is a very misleading word, self-care, because the mental health profession uses that a lot. And sometimes self-care, people think it's going for a shopping spree or taking a bubble bath or indulging in food that you really love. Yes, I'm not saying that those are not self-care. They are very much self-care. But sometimes self-care is to be able to have the courage to look into something that we have been avoiding for so long. Right. Sometimes we think self-care is just treating the surface level stuff. Oh, I just want to feel good. I just want to indulge in the moment where I can release something right away. But self-care is much deeper. It's about really taking care of something that you've been struggling with for a very long time. Or maybe something that, you know what, I kind of want to revisit that. I want to see what that is all about. Giving yourself the time to be, to discover, to create something, and to venture out rediscovering what it is, who you are. Maybe redirecting and thinking, I'm at this stage of my life now. Who am I? I really want to find out, but I want to find it out creatively. That's where you can come in to this workshop. So again, I highlight no art experience required. And I believe it's every Monday, correct? Yes, I'm sorry about the dates. But we'll have a better, date, time, and everything. And it's only 6 sessions, and each session is 2 hours. So that's plenty of time for us to delve into different types of creative projects that we'll be delving into. So Are there any questions? Oh my goodness. So before I answer any questions, I would like to talk to our audience online that if you are interested in asking anything, you could also type in the message box and press send, and I will try and answer that as much as possible. But yes, audience. Yes, sir. What's your name?
Jim.
Jim. Hi, Jim. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. Since this is relatively new, what are your plans to follow up with your clients? As far as trying to find out what their success rate is?
That's a very, very good question. In fact, relapse prevention is a huge part of what's behind the back of my head, because I feel that not only that they need to incorporate this in their daily practice as a wellness practice for creativity, I also want them to be able to make it somehow sustainable as well. So I encourage a lot of them to keep creating, honing their craft. I am trying to actually create some network with local educational places like colleges and universities where they can provide or even sponsor some continuing education in the craft that they are into, to help them learn more about the techniques of what they're interested in and see where that can lead them to. I think sometimes that is very important. That's why bringing this to the community is so important for us, because we do need the community's help. There's only one part of what we're doing, but that's where the hand holding is and the reaching out is. Addiction is not only about these isolated individuals who needs our help, but what about their families? What about helping them as well, to giving them a second chance? And I can speak for a lot of them that they really do want to regain their life back. They needed that opportunity to help them, to guide them, to encourage them. So yes, thank you for asking that question. Yes.
I was curious, I'm sure all your sessions are connected, I'll see about this, but is there a chance that you might offer that individually?
I think anything is possible. We can talk more about that. Definitely. As long as you're interested, I think we can always work something out. Thank you, though. Yes.
Your clients that participate in this, is it all the clients that are involved, or just certain ones on referral, or so?
Good question. Actually, most of the art sessions, group sessions, are for inpatient clients in Harbor Hall. Inpatient meaning they're living there. They have a period of time where they have to work on their program, recovery program. And then there's also a transitional living that is within Harbor Hall as well, that they can come and join the art classes as well. We do have individual sessions within our service. So if some individuals, they want to delve more into how to use expressive arts for their own healing journey, or some of them are actually very talented. In fact, a lot of them are very, very creative and very talented, and they want to hone their craft a little bit more and use that for their treatment plan. We will provide that as well. And also, we are also extending now, sooner or later, to outpatient programs, because Harbor Hall also has outpatient facilities here in Petoskey and Sheboygan. And we're trying to provide that also to the families of the addicts or outside people who wanted this as a resource for their own therapy or their own wellness. So yes, did that answer your question? Yes, I actually got some pamphlets with me as well. If you're interested to understanding more, self-referral is definitely could be done, or it could be done through other ventures and ways, but we can talk more about that if you would like to. Yes.
Do you consider addiction, and I know there's chemical addiction, I'm speaking as a nurse, I'm trying to understand addiction better. But do you consider grief an addiction?
Grief is very much part of addiction. I think when we talk about addiction alone, in fact, it doesn't really have an image. It doesn't really have any emotions ties to it. It's more of just a label, addiction. But when you come to feel the word addiction and to come to understand what these addicts are struggling with, a lot of them struggle with all of these heavy emotions. Grief is very much part of it. Anger is very much a part of it. Loneliness, sadness, frustration. Also a lot that's stemming from trauma. Grief can be very much tied into trauma as well. So I think a lot of that, what you're saying it's very, very much part of addiction. Because addiction is only kind of like the top of the umbrella, but they're dealing with a lot of different things that's underneath, kind of like under the iceberg of what people usually don't see. But I also believe that it's not only addicts who has those feelings or struggling with those things. At the end of the day, addicts are human beings too. We're all human beings. And we all struggle in our own extent. And we all do find ways to cope with our own struggles. Some may venture out doing a drug binge, but some may do other type of addictive behaviors that are not shed light on, such as shopping can be an addictive behavior. Compulsive, scrolling on your phone could be an addictive behavior, or putting a blind eye to what you're supposed to look at and not dealing with it. Anger could be an addictive behavior. So I kind of want to be transparent about that addiction is not only to addicts with, chemical substance abuse, but addiction can happen to anyone and everyone. Yeah, so dealing with the emotion is the most important part. Yeah, thanks for asking that though. Yes.
Thank you for a really well thought out, clear presentation. This has been very informative. I just want to clarify that the actual class you'll have here at Crooked Tree, as I understand it, the work you're doing with Harvard Hall clients will be at Harvard Hall, whereas this workshop is intended to engage other members of the community in this process.
Correct.
Correct? Or
Correct.
It's not, is it an intention to bring in your Harvard Hall clients into the art center, or is this focus more reaching out to the rest of the?
Thank you for asking that question so I can clarify. In fact, it's about not bringing the clients over here, but bringing what we're teaching the clients with expressive arts therapy over here to the workshop, so that the community or anyone who's interested can get a taste of what it's like to utilize those projects that we've been working on for their own healing journey. So for example, we talked about how to manifest our heart's desire. We always start from the heart. Sometimes we may think we know what we want, but until we start to really delve into what truly aligns to our core values or our strengths or our beliefs, that could be a project in itself. And that's something that we've been doing with our clients as well. Another example is we talked about self-image, self-portrait. That not in a sense of just illustrating how you look, but more of a self-portrait of how you see yourself, how you want to see yourself. So bringing that image out through expression, creative expression, is a very powerful and transformative way. And we wanted to be able to bring all of that over here at Crooked Tree and be able to share that with people who are interested in it. So yes, thank you for asking that question. Yeah. Yes, Sheila.
So I'm curious about, clients that you work with, either Harvard Hall or the other work you've done with adolescents.
Yes.
You've done a lot of expressive arts therapy outside of Harvard Hall. I wonder what it's like to work with artists who have a body of work, skill level, have a particular relationship to their work that is different than what you're doing in the art studio. So, you know, maybe you've got somebody who's like a really accomplished, maybe you have somebody in Harvard Hall who's an accomplished artist who ran into, you know, challenge, comes to your studio. How do you work with them any differently when they already have preconceived, you know, experience and expectations about their relationship with people?
Yeah, that's a very good question. In fact, through that, I can explain a little bit more about expressive arts therapy. So when any clients come in the door or any individuals come in the door, being an expressive arts therapist, the first rule is we meet them where they're at. So what that means is no matter what skill level, no matter what type of expression they have already been delving on, we would meet them right there. In fact, it's fabulous when they already come in with something that they've been creating, whether it's highly established. We do have one or two that are, I mean, very, very technical and very skilled painters, drawers, and some are very good creative writers, by the way. But through that, it's wonderful because it will allow the therapist to be able to communicate with them through the craft that they've already been doing and see what we can use that to help them with their own creative healing journey. So we always meet them where they're at. And my philosophy is also about how we can transform it, how we can expand it or minimize it. So every art form is malleable. What that means is you can create it in different aspect and size. For example, if you're a painter, personally, I would suggest you, hey, you know what? Have you ever thought of maybe using writing to articulate or extend more about what you're doing? Or do you want to do a series of paintings to kind of expand the details of your emotions a little bit instead of just doing one? Or how about some of them who has double, like multidisciplinary craft, like music and art at the same time? How about writing a song for the painting that you did? How would you describe it? How would you dialogue with it? How would you see it in a more of a musical presentation of it? So it's so much fun. I honestly think, well, everybody always says that about their own job, but I honestly believe I have the best job because it is so much fun. Every single day is different. You meet all kinds of interesting individuals. And to be able to have that relationship creatively with them fulfills my heart so much. It gives me so much joy. Yeah. Oh, I see your hand. So yeah. Thank you so much, everyone.
So much.